I know it's such a different type of a school year, isn't it? You have kids that are now virtual, some that are in school, and I'm thinking about teachers today. So to help on his radio, hi, it's Rob and Liz. Stephanie Baker from Life in Abundance Counseling Center is along with us this morning.
Yeah, and the first thing, I've started to kind of hear some grumblings and started seeing some things on Facebook where there are some parents that are kind of upset with school districts and teachers about what's happening. And as a teacher, you're doing all you can. How do they deal with that anxiety?
Well, it really is a different point because it used to be, at least I say used to be, back when COVID first hit, it seemed that there was a renewed, appreciation and admiration for teachers. And over the last couple of months, as we've gotten closer to the start of the school year, that seems to have become sort of contentious on social media platforms, and I think something that we need to remember here is that teachers are also, many of them, parents. And so they see both sides of the landscape here, trying to manage what they're going to do with their kids and what they're going to try to do in the classroom. And treating everybody with kindness and respect is a pretty important part of that. Just remembering that, there are teachers, if you're a parent, there are teachers that are in the same boat as you. Like they're trying to figure out when I'm not, or when I'm not at home, what's going on with my kids who are at home. How do I do that? I think the important thing here is that we also remember that teamwork, neither side can do it without the other. Parents need the teachers and the teachers need the parents. And so, there may be some things that teachers and parents can connect on, even things like putting together a co-op. Homeschooling parents have done that for a very long time, but it may be that now, within the community, some type of co-op can be put together to help the situation that we have now, so that when they're not actually in the classroom and they're doing distance learning, maybe there's a co-op to help with distance learning for parents who are trying to stay at work and be able to earn a living.
Yeah, certainly do need each other. And when you think about teachers today, they're certainly facing new types of challenges now.
Yeah. The logistics are a whole different ballgame for teachers this year. And the good news is that, it's not going to be quite the craziness that it felt like in the first couple of weeks when COVID hit. There's been some time now for most districts to think through what they want to do. There are not perfect plans. There will not be perfect plans. We know this. But just for teachers, for them, they're trying to just keep up with the extra requirements. It may be that in some classrooms, the children stay present and the teachers rotate into the classroom. So that alleviates a little bit of it. But then there are others where children are going to be the ones, different classes are going to come in. And between those classes, the teacher has the responsibility of trying to disinfect everything. The concern is, how do we offer also hands-on learning, things like shop, things like science labs? How do we do that? Because that requires extra disinfection and more, PPE than would normally, or personal protective equipment than would normally be required. And then, I've heard teachers say, gosh, we've had to, use our own money to put things in our classrooms before. What if there's not enough equipment now? What if there's not enough face masks? What if we run out of these things? And so they're very real questions. I was looking at a forum for teachers and just looking at some of the comments, and some of them were like, what happens if there has to be a substitute? What is that going to look like? Am I going to have to, if I'm quarantined, how many of my personal days am I going to have to, burn through? If I'm exposed, what is that going to look like? Who's going to tell us? That's a big concern.
What if a teacher does feel unsafe? If they're going to go to school and maybe some of them are already feeling that, how do they address that and deal with that kind of anxiety?
Well, I think the important thing there is trust, okay? And it's built just like in any other relationship. But I think going with the idea in mind that nobody knows 100% how to handle all of this. Most administrations are doing the very best that they can. They're trying very hard with the resources that they have. And so understanding that there's not a perfect solution, but if there are questions, going to HR, if you're concerned about your safety in a particular area, going to HR, going to the administration and giving them facts. There's a difference when we go to somebody with facts versus emotion. And so most of the time, if we're hyped up in emotion, it is going to be a hard thing So anyway, so we're trying to get get it where people understand, kind of come down a little bit, think through it before you present it. Maybe be part of the solution also.
Stephanie Baker along with us, Life and Abundance Counseling Center. We're talking about teachers in the new school year. Caregiver burnout. It's a term that's been used. It exists. And now this is like a term for teachers through COVID-19.
Yeah, it is. And I think, the best way to define it is to say that it's linked to what we consider the burden of taking care of others when it results in physical, emotional, or mental exhaustion. And teachers are very susceptible to that. I want to point out, too, that many teachers, not all, but many teachers are women. And women in their homes are typically more of the nurture, not that men can't be, but they take on the mom role, the organizing the schedule role. And so they're coming into this new situation with that. They're also dealing with, the fact that they haven't been able to connect even over the summer, probably with a lot of their students, and they're used to doing that. Some of them that I talk to are very used to doing that. And so they're stressed because they don't know how their kids have done, their classroom kids have done over the summer. That's all going to be new. But realizing that when there's burnout, when there's caregiver fatigue, what is a hallmark of that is your view of the world sort of begins to change. And so whereas regular burnout, I'm tired of my job, I want to go try something different, that's not what this is. This is literally exhaustion, physically, emotionally, mentally. Sometimes it's misdiagnosed, actually. But it really involves more of a sweeping change in your view of others in the world. Maybe like, I'm losing hope in humanity, or I don't see the good in people anymore. That can be part of what is caregiver burnout. And if you have that, it's really, really, really important. Or if you suspect that that's something you're experiencing, go and talk to somebody about it, because with a trained therapist, you're going to be able to work with that therapist. They're going to reframe what you're dealing with in a way that's more helpful to you and healthy. And they're going to work with you to put together a plan to heal. The good news is you don't have to stay in that place. That's the good news. So true.
Stephanie Baker from Life and Abundance Counseling Center. I do have to ask, I don't know if I'm allowed to ask this or not.
What's that?
But how are your eyes?
They're doing much better. Thank you. He's asking me that because there was a freak accident with hand sanitizer at my office earlier in the week. But I'm not very tall, and my front desk is. And so there's a bottle of hand sanitizer there. Let this be a warning to everyone. Like, the nozzle was kind of clogged. And so I went to push down on the nozzle, and it sprayed directly into my eyes.
Oh,
my feet.
man.
So, directly into my eyes.
My eyes hurt just thinking about it. But you're okay now?
I am. There was a little, area of a chemical burn in one of them, but my eye doctor is fantastic and so sweet. Saw me right away and gave me some stuff. But thank you for asking.
Yeah, I did that with bleach a couple of years ago. I dropped a bottle of bleach and it just went whoosh right into my face. I went, no!
Yeah.
But I'm okay, so I can see just like you can, which is good.
I'm glad you're better.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm glad your eyesight is A-okay.
Yeah, well, same in return. That's hand sanitizer. Hey, by the way, if you would like to see some of these points and then some, because Stephanie wrote up a lot of great stuff that we'll have on our blog, you'll see that at hisradio.com. Just look for the Rob and Lizz blog.